clearly a relatively minor attack in terms of scale, but how worried will America be by an assault like this on what effectively were the Moscow suburbs?
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what the United States would not want to see. I mean, as the West has given weapons to Kiev, they have required assurances that these would not be used in any direct attack on Russia. And Kiev has given those assurances, and I'm sure they will keep to it. They will not use Western weapons to attack Russia. But if they're using their own weapons to attack Russia, and these are not military targets, I mean, if these drones were directed towards a military target, they obviously are shot down short, so they're going to land somewhere, so you've got to take responsibility for that. So if Ukraine was behind these attacks, and I still say that it's an if at the moment, but if they were, then they're sailing very, very close to the wind. They'll say, well, you know, if we did attack Russia, we didn't use Western weapons to do it. That point will be lost on the Russians. The Russians will simply make the point that you're attacking our homeland. We know that you're doing that because you're trying to destroy Russia, and NATO and the United States is behind you because they're now at war with Russia. It's Putin's narrative, it's Putin's playbook, which is why Ukraine will be very foolish if it engaged in these attacks deliberately.
Even indirectly through some sort of paramilitary group inside
Well,
Russia?
that's always plausible, because some of the drones that we're talking about are commercially available. You know, private groups do have them because they're not all military. These drones can be used for photography, they can be used for filming. They just carry something. They're just simple aircraft which can carry about 20 kilos of something. So that's entirely plausible. But if that's the case, Kyiv has got to actually make its case. It's got to talk more. Simply saying it's nothing to do with us, that's been okay until now. Because with the sinking with Moskva, they sort of said, no, it's not us, and then they winked. You know, nothing to do with us, big wink. They mustn't do that this time. If they are not behind this, they've got to try to make that clear. If they are behind it, then they should say so and make their reasons clear. Because if they're accused of it and can't actually get away from the accusation, it plays to Putin's narrative, and it makes people in the West very, very nervous.
Well, with that in mind, could it affect, if it turns out they are behind it, we'll probably never know, could it affect future military assistance?
Well, it would affect the political arguments that go on in the West about future military assistance. The assistance they've got is there now. But another wave of military assistance will almost certainly have to be given in the autumn. And that will be a big issue because there's not that much more stuff that can be easily transferred. Military equipment can be easily given to Ukraine. And we're all going to face another round of these arguments, we in the West, come the autumn. And if the political opposition to aiding Ukraine has been strengthened by this sort of thing, then that will be quite poor for Ukraine's cause.
OK, Michael, thank you very much indeed.